noises or animal sounds that could disturb or scare some of these animals. Definitely don't want to do that, especially in their own homes. If you look right above your heads, you'll see an animal spotting sheet. Those are some of the animals that we should be able to see out there, but we may not be able to see every one of those animals. We usually have pretty good luck. This is a photo safari, so feel free to take as many photos or videos as you would like. I recommend a sport or an action setting, as we don't have time to stop for every one of those animals, and animals, they don't have time to stop for us either. Believe me, I've tried asking them even nicely, and they said they had a lot better things to do, like grazing. Another thing about those cameras and cell phones, please keep a tight hold on them at all times so anything falls out of the safari at the end of the day. No need to panic. Just raise your hand in the air, I'll raise mine to acknowledge you, and then everybody else will raise theirs, and we'll wave goodbye to that item together. I'm not allowed to stop. You're going to be holding here waiting for that all clear from the warden. Should be getting it momentarily. There's a sign out there on the right with an animal carved into it that we just might be able to see today. That animal is the sable antelope, one of my favorite antelopes. Righty, there's that all clear. Now we're going to go ahead and start our journey in the Little Atiri Forest. Now, this is home to lots of animals that like to hide. Definitely keep those eyes peeled for them out here. Never know quite when or where they're going to show up. Ooh. We're in luck today. I see an animal straight ahead here. These are some bongos, a whole herd of them. They're going to be on your left-hand side, just past this bamboo. Look on that left-hand side up there. Those bongos, they're known as the ghosts of the forest because they're rarely ever seen. A real treat that we even get to catch a glimpse of them like this. Out there on the right-hand side, you're going to be able to see a different species of animal. This is an okapi. And the okapi you may think is a relative of the zebra, given all those white stripes, especially on their backside. They're actually more closely related to the giraffe, from their unique skull shape, as well as the fact that they have a prehensile tongue, just like the giraffe. As we make this turn over here, we're going to be passing by a watering hole. It's usually a great place to find some of those larger mammals hanging out, cooling off, and keeping hydrated. Real quick, if you look on that right-hand side, just past those bushes up there, you might be able to see that white and black plumage of a saddle-bill stork. Pretty good at hiding. About 5 foot tall bird though. Wingspan of 7 to 9 feet. I think they're named for a little yellow bit right on the top of their bill. Not too much over by the watering hole. That's alright, we got plenty more trail left to go. Ooh, some greater kudu over on that right side. Top of the hill. Largest of the kudu, short height about 55 inches. Those ones look like female greater kudu. You can tell that because they're lacking horns. Now the male kudu, they have horns that are about 23 inches in length, almost 2 feet. As we make this turn, we're going to be heading out of the Little Atiri, but into the Safi River area. The Safi River, that's home to animals like the Nile hippopotamus and Nile crocodile. Well, definitely keep those eyes on the water up ahead, or any of those shadows that might be lurking beneath the waves. Now, Nile hippos, they tend to spend the majority of their time under the water, hoping to stay out of the sun, as they have some pretty sensitive skin, making them a bit hard to spot. But we are in luck today, as I see some resting out on the riverbanks. It won't be there forever, though. Again, they have some pretty sensitive skin. Definitely don't want to get a sunburn.
Do you see him?
About 2,300 pounds. They eat about 85 pounds of food a day. Some of the most territorial animals out here in that trip. Oh, looks like we got a flip over there. We'll go poly if you're here so you can get a good look at them. Oh, looks like there's a bloat over there on the left-hand side too. That's what we call a group of hippos. Right in just behind that island. Over on the island itself, you can see some fairly large gray and white birds. Those are pink-backed pelicans. They get their name for the coloration that shows up on their backs during mating season. Not too much on them right now, but come springtime, they're actually quite vibrant. Pelicans, they're some of the oldest lineages of birds. They're going back about 40 million years. Something pretty cool about those pelicans, if you look at them long enough, eventually one or two of them will yawn, and you can see their spine through their bill when they yawn. Out there on the left-hand side, you see a little baby hippo in that bloat over there.
Down there, you see him?
Her name is Brenna. She's only about 200 pounds.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Go poly so you can get a good look at them. Just past that beautiful waterfall, you're going to see some equally beautiful crocodiles. Weighing in at about 500 pounds, growing lengths over 16 feet. They're some of the largest crocs on the planet. Now, they primarily eat fish, but they are known to be very opportunistic. They'll eat just about anything out there in the water on the riverbanks. Now, you might have noticed that we're heading back into the forest here. We're going to be looking for an opening into the savanna. Savanna ecosystems occur whenever there's not quite enough precipitation out there to sustain a forest ecosystem. But there is just enough to where it's not a desert. It's kind of a middle ground between forest and desert where a lot of our favorite animals like to live, like giraffes, zebras, elephants, and antelope. We're in the start of the savanna now. As we make this turn, over on the right there's a huge tree. That tree is called a baobab tree, also known as the tree of life for its ability to store vast amounts of water on the inside of its trunk. It'll go about 9 months out of every year without any leaves, also to conserve all that water, and they can live to be about 2,000 years old. Bit of a giraffic jam up ahead, but it looks like it's clearing out right about now. Go ahead, pull forward. You're back on the move. As we head down the savanna overlook, we're going to see a couple of animals down there. All the way down towards those palm trees. You may be able to see that giraffe pretty far away, but we'll be getting a closer look momentarily. Ooh, here's one that's a little bit closer to us. Doing a little bit of grazing over by that tree. That giraffe is actually a Maasai giraffe. You'll be able to tell once we get a little bit closer. We can tell that from their spot pattern. It's very blotchy, unlike the reticulated giraffe that has a very tight net-like pattern. Actually, over 9 species of giraffe in Africa. That's one of them. I also straight ahead here and see some fairly large gray and black mammals. Those are white-bearded wildebeest. The white-bearded wildebeest, they have a very strong herd mentality. So strong they like to sleep in rows at night. Helps them to evade predators by being able to quickly get up and run away without bumping into one another. Now, a group of white-bearded wildebeest, that's called a confusion. If you look at them long enough, you'll see why. Every now and then they're grazing, they'll just kind of see like that one's doing. Just kind of walk off, look around.
You're gonna have to see it.
And then they'll come back and do some more grazing. I like they're a little confused. That animal out there with those huge horns, it's Ankole cattle, also known as Watusi cattle after the tribe that first domesticated them. Their horns can measure over 6 feet from tip to tip. Well, it may look like they've been pretty heavy. They're actually mostly hollow, have a honeycomb structure on the inside that helps to support them. Well, to run through that honeycomb structure kind of acting like a natural radiator. Come to find out a lot of these adaptations around here. Just have to do it trying to keep cool. That's most of the time. It's pretty hot out here in the savanna.
Coming up,
Let's see if we can get a better look at that giraffe. Be on the lookout for a teeny tiny giraffe. A baby giraffe is out here. His name's Humphrey. Only about 7.5 feet tall. And also a little bit lighter in coloration than the giraffes that you're seeing out here. Ooh, out on the left, you see a couple of African wild dogs. On the right-hand side of that cave. Those African wild dogs might look pretty cute and cuddly, but they're actually some of the top predators out here. Over an 80% success rate when it comes to hunting. They accomplish this by hunting in packs of 5 to 15, chasing their prey to the point of exhaustion.
Look at the cattle over there.
Also on that left-hand side, you're going to see some sable antelope, the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Animal that you can see carved into that signage out front. I think I mentioned it before. That's one of my favorite antelopes. Their horns are pretty sharp and pointy, tilted back. Those seem to defend themselves. There might be predators coming from behind. You know, these giraffe out there, whenever they're born, they're already about 6 feet tall. They'll endure a 6-foot drop straight to the ground. That's what first welcomes them into the world. About an hour afterwards, they're already able to run, and a fully grown giraffe actually runs at top speed, over 35 miles per hour. That's pretty quick. They have the same number of vertebrae in the next that we do. There's just 7. Theirs are just a little bit longer, only by a hair. Have you ever wondered what those little bumps on a giraffe's head are called? Those are ossicones. The males will use those along with their necks to defend themselves primarily against other male giraffes. That's called necking. That's why the tips of their ossicones are usually bald. While the females, they have little tufts of fur on their ossicones. Kind of help them tell them apart, especially from a distance. Some of the largest ruminids is that they have a chambered stomach, just like cattle. Over 2 foot long, prehensile purple tongue that they used to wrap around the branches of trees out here, remove a lot of that foliage. You can see just how vastly different the tree line is because of these giraffes. They don't get very many leaves and branches until you're about 20 feet up. called a tower. Kind of, we're passing by a tower over there. As opposed to a group of scared giraffes. If you ever see one of those, that's a tower of terror. Now straight ahead you can see some springbok. That's these teeny tiny antelopes. Tan coat, brown stripe running right down the middle. Little white underbelly. A springbok, they get their name for their ability to spring over 6 feet straight into the air, about 13 feet forward. They're one of the top 10 fastest animals on the planet. Top speed of about 50 miles per hour. That's just 10 miles an hour slower than a cheetah's top speed. Well, definitely pretty quick. You know, those springbok out there, they can actually jump higher than a house. That's because springbok, they have really powerful legs, and no matter how hard a house tries, they can't jump. As I make this turn here, we're going to be heading into some elephant territory. Definitely be on the lookout for them. Our largest elephant, his name is Mac, about 12,000 pounds, roughly the equivalent to 4 or 5 of those giraffes you saw out there. Straight ahead here, it looks like we got one of our smaller male African elephants. Doing a little bit of grazing. Male African elephants tend to stay alone, a bit more solitary. While females, they tend to form herds, helps them to protect any potential young. And also some mandrill monkeys out on the left-hand side. So we can find that little baby mandrill monkey too. Those are the largest monkeys in the world, weighing in at over 100 pounds when fully grown. They're mostly known for their bright blue and red facial markings, just like the ones that Rafiki has. You might have noticed that they have little short stubby tails. Oh, Rafiki had a really long tail. That's a bit of creative liberty that was taken there. They were making the Lion King. Or maybe they just forgot, you know, they don't have a great memory like these African elephants out here. That's not just a myth. I sure wish I had a good memory like those African elephants.
You're not a woman.
As we head over the bridge here, we're going to be heading towards some red clay pits. Those are a pretty great indicator of elephant activity. Elephants, they love the red clay. They like to use their tusks to dig into the clay walls. Once they have enough of that clay loosened up, they'll actually start to ingest it. It's full of all sorts of vitamins and minerals that they can't find in other parts of their diet. So to them, it's kind of like a naturally occurring multivitamin. We'll get started with the red clay pit up here.
That's what we need to get the boys, red clay.
See if we can find any tusk markings. That'll be a sure sign they're out here. Not too much luck. Oh, yep, there looks like some. Coming up on that right hand side. Pretty fresh too. Just have to see if we can find those culprits out here. Oh, it looks like there's some by that baobab tree. That's where they usually like to hang out. Yeah, that baobab tree has another nickname. It's also known as the upside down tree. It kind of resembles a tree that's been flipped upside down. And speaking of upside down trees, elephants are actually strong enough to do that, and they can push trees right over, bulldoze them straight to the ground just to get to that foliage on top. They'll eat over 350 to 400 pounds of foliage a day. Wash that down about 40 to 50 gallons of water. And that's per elephant out here. Let's see if we can get a closer look at them.
It's that big one.
And once we get up there, you might notice that they move their ears a little back and forth. That's called ear fanning. Helps to keep them cool. Their ears are full of blood vessels, and as the air wafts over them, you can actually decrease their body temperature to about 15 degrees. Oh, Fahrenheit, that is. You also might notice a little bit of dirt in their backs. Elephants will throw that dirt up there, kind of act like a natural sunblock. So they have some fairly sensitive skin. Definitely don't want to burn up out here. Now what we're looking at is probably a smaller herd of female African elephants, as they tend to form herds. So again, the males, they tend to hang out on their own. Haven't seen Mac yet. Well, that's still a pretty good sign. As we make this turn, we're going to be passing by a flamboyance as well. That's what we call a group of flamingos. And more specifically, these are greater flamingos, the largest and least pink flamingo. They get their pink coloration from the beta-carotene found in their diet of brine shrimp. And whenever they hatch, they're actually a light gray color. It'll take them about a year to get to that lovely shade of pink. You can see some juvenile flamingos out there right now. Light gray, white, black in coloration. be a couple of months until they get those bright pink wings in. You know, if I didn't already mention it, you know, giraffes, they only have like 7 vertebrae in their necks, just like we do. Those flamingo out there have 19. It just seems like a lot to me, and I'm a bit suspicious of them. As we make this turn, we're heading into the western savanna. And I heard there were some signs of rhino activity out here. Definitely be on the lookout for them. I do see a mud wallow up ahead. That's a pretty good indicator that they're somewhere close by. Ooh, and that ostrich is also up ahead, holding up traffic a little bit. Yep. That's the only animal that your safari driver is scared of, just a little bit, and they know it. About 200 pounds.
You'll see him.
250 pounds. Oh, I suggest keeping those hands in while we pass by. A bit nippy.
Oh yeah, there's rhinos right there.
There we go.
No, we went that time.
They don't do a whole lot of flying. It's pretty much known for that. They do still use those wings to help steer, brake, and keep balance, especially when they're running. Comes to about 38 miles per hour. Oh, there's some white rhinos. Just past that mud wall towards that palm tree. Whole crash of them. That's what we call a group of rhinos. Crash. Now, those are white rhino. They get their name not from their coloration, but actually from the mispronunciation of the Afrikaans word weit. That means wide. Wide because of that really wide jawline. Also on that left-hand side, look out, there's a cheetah over there.
See him sleeping up there?
There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 cheetahs I'm seeing so far.
See 'em?
I can't see them, they can't see you.
Oh, there's one walking. There's one walking back there. Look straight back.
Those cheetahs, they have claws that they cannot fully retract. They do a lot of their hunting during the day. Well, a pretty cool adaptation for that hunting during the day. It's actually those dark circles right around their eyes. It's helped to absorb some of that incoming light coming off the savanna. It helps them to see a bit more clearly. Kind of like a natural pair of shades for some pretty cool cats.
Oh, there's one.
Out there. Pretty sure that ostrich is following us. As we make this turn up ahead, we're going to be seeing a Kopi rock formation. That's usually a great place to find some of those larger predatory mammals. Like to take advantage of the high ground, helps them whenever they're seeking out prey. Those larger predatory mammals, though, they're primarily nocturnal. They'll usually be sleeping out here. Hey, predatory mammals like lions, of course. They'll sleep anywhere from 16 to 20 hours a day. And the female lioness will usually head out.
Sounds like mom.
All the males that typically stay behind. I'm watching after her territory. Not seeing too much activity yet. Over there, up to see if we can see anything up there. Not too much. It looks like there is a bit of activity though. Coming up on our next turn. Yeah, a whole bunch of warthogs up there.
Yeah, look on the little side.
You'd call that a herd of warthogs. They're the largest burrowing mammals in Africa. Whenever they find or build a burrow, they actually back into it with their tusks facing out. They also protect themselves from any would-be predators out here.
What's his name?
I like those lions and cheetahs. And wild dogs.
Pumbaa.
Yeah, you are Boomba, I swear. If
I think I heard somebody say Pumbaa earlier. That means fool in Swahili, if you're curious.
And he killed a whole forest.
Bunch of ostrich eggs over there on the right. Now they're group nesters, so wherever one ostrich lays an egg, they'll all lay their egg in the same spot. Ostrich eggs, they can weigh up to 3 pounds. Roughly equivalent to 24 chicken eggs.
That's a big old omelet.
Actually, some of the healthiest eggs in the animal kingdom. And the lowest amount of cholesterol. And they'll make a pretty big omelet. As we make this turn, we're going to be headed into the Magadi Glen. Some to our warden's host. And now the warden's actually looking after some Nigerian dwarf goats. Now these Nigerian dwarf goats up ahead, they're renowned for their ability to eat all sorts of underbrush and growth. that a lot of other animals don't enjoy eating. Things like poison ivy and poison oak even. They're also known to take things pretty literally. I guess the warden told him to hold down the fort. They're pretty fun and playful little goats. Sometimes you'll find them butting heads with one another. It's actually called sparring. Don't observe that when they're sparring. They're not doing it as a show of dominance or anything. It's just a form of play.
The animals don't go out.
Those were all full-size Nigerian dwarf goats as well. Only about 2 foot, 2.5 foot tall when full grown. As we make these next couple of turns, we are going to be heading out of a reserve. We're in the end of our journey, heading back forward towards the village. There's a lot of cool animals out there. And if you want to see some more cool animals, you can head just to the right. That stroller parking area. That's where you can see some gorillas, zebras, naked mole rats, meerkats, fish birds. They even got some monkeys. And an underwater
naked mole
area.
rats.
You can see some more of those Nile hippos, potentially a bit more clearly. So those Nile hippos, they're not just cool, they're pretty hippo. You really should check them out if you have time. You head to the left of that stroller parking area, that'll be back out towards the rest of the village. Another left, and you'll be at that Rafiki's Planet Watch. That's where you can participate in the Art and Animation Academy, learn to draw some of your favorite Disney animals. They have our animal care center over there. You can see some animals get care, treatment, and checkups that they need to stay happy and healthy. And they also have our affection section. That's where you may be able to pet some of those Nigerian dwarf goats, along with a couple other pretty cool animals. And we are going to be holding here. A little bit of traffic up ahead before we go ahead and dock. I do ask that you start to check those seats, check those rows, make sure that you have everything before you head out. It's quite a bumpy ride, things tend to jostle around. Make sure that you have those phones, wallets, keys, kids. Definitely don't want to leave anything behind. It's quite a long walk back to Africa if you do.
Let me leave you in Africa? Okay. You gonna make an omelet with those eggs?
Alright, yeah.
Omelet out of your head.
2 more trucks ahead of us here. You know, there's another really cool trail besides that Gorilla Falls Trail that's right outside here. The next trail's over in Asia. It's called the Maharaja Jungle Trek. It's where you can see some Sumatran tigers, water buffalo, Komodo dragons, and giant fruit bats. You also have a number of unmarked trails all around Discovery Island. You can see some of those lesser flamingos, otters, kangaroos, vultures. You have some spoonbills over there, cotton-top tamarin monkeys. Did I say porcupines? I might have said porcupines already. Lots of cool animals over there. That's just naming a few of them. Alrighty, we are going to be up next. Let's tap for this truck.
Hey, Alabama driver right there, cut us off. Damn, man.
You might be able to see a small herd of wild safari drivers out there on the left. And no flash photography, they do scare easy. Just really don't want to spook them.
Say, I'm gonna put it towards you and say signing off. That's all I say. How do you get out? Depends on how you do it.
Signing off.